Today I'm going to answer the question, why do narcissists pick fights and then blame you? So stick around, you don't want to miss this. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tammy M. Joyce. I'm an empowerment life coach helping you reclaim your power after narcissistic abuse. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. So what is up with the narcissist and their penchant for picking fights and then shifting the blame onto you? For real, what gives, right? Well, in my view, there are 5 primary reasons why a narcissist will go out of their way to start an argument or pick a fight and then shift the blame onto you. Number 1, it props up their false self and overinflated ego. People with a destructive narcissist personality pattern, in other words, people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, go through life with an intense need to start and win arguments because it props them up. Meaning, it boosts their overinflated ego. It helps keep their false persona, including their false sense of superiority, intact. It lets them know that they're alive, important, significant, even if in a highly dysfunctional and destructive way. In fact, the more high spectrum they are, the more they'll seek to accomplish this by any means necessary. But there's more to it. Number 2, narcissists are energy vampires. Destructive narcissists are vampiric in nature and literally manufacture unnecessary chaos and drama because your high voltage negative emotional reaction serves them in a number of ways. Primarily as a means of literally siphoning your vital life force energy. The more frequently and intensely you react to the narcissist's provocations, the more energy the narcissist is able to siphon from you. They go out of their way to target any vulnerabilities that you may have with deliberate intent to trigger you. They want you to react. And no matter what you say, no matter how much sense you're making, no matter how much evidence or actual experience you bring to the table, there's always an excuse to rationalize and justify what they've done or said, and, of course, always a reason why they're right and you're wrong. And as a result of engaging in this deliberately manufactured and circular, mind-bending, crazy-making argument, you walk away feeling completely drained and depleted, while the narcissist walks away feeling great, high even. Why? They've been able to fill themselves up on an energetic level via your intense emotional outburst. Think about it. Emotion is energy in motion. Low vibrational beings will draw on and literally siphon the intense emotion, energy and motion coming off of their target. And this is especially true in the dynamic between the empath and the destructive narcissist. But again, there's more to it. Number 3, you're onto them. Another reason they'll pick fights is one way or another it's become clear that you see right through the bullshit and aren't falling for the false image and all of the perception manipulation they've got going on. Moreover, you're not believing the lies. Once they realize you're starting to see beyond the mask and false persona, it becomes a game of devaluing and discrediting you as you enter the devalue and discard phase of the toxic abuse cycle. You become the enemy and thus a target once they realize they can no longer control, manipulate, dominate, dupe, or deceive you into believing they're something they are not. You're a lot more fun for the narcissist when you're all charmed and impressed. When you cease to be fooled by their fake, phony facade, it's not over yet. First, it's on. The 4th reason they'll pick fights with you is so they can now blame and shame you as a result of deliberately provoking a negative reaction from you. This is a sick little technique commonly used by narcissists called narcissistic baiting. And if you want to learn more about that, you can watch this video here. But the point being, narcissists deliberately pick fights with deliberate intent to manufacture a specific outcome. Namely, being able to point the finger at and blame and shame you. They enjoy dragging you down to their level and getting you to roll around in the mud with them. They enjoy getting you all frothed up, angry, overwhelmed, and confused if they can do it. They enjoy the toxicity and the negativity it produces. It's their comfort zone. And they especially enjoy being able to take the onus and focus off of themselves and their own maladaptive behavior by pointing the finger at you and labeling you the problem. This really works for them. And the fifth reason narcissists pick fights with you is narcissists are confrontational. They simply enjoy confrontation. They enjoy the fight. They enjoy the drama. They enjoy the competition, the game. Mostly, they enjoy winning. And again, remember, winning for them means you are losing in ways that will have a detrimental, if not completely devastating, impact on not only your self-esteem, but also your emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual well-being. And because they operate from an overinflated ego, often with a delusional sense of entitlement, grandeur, and superiority, their need to be right at all costs will not only be stunning, but also, as I just said, incredibly harmful to anyone who engages in the nonsense and insanity with them, especially if you're doing so on a regular basis. The more empathic you are, the more true this will be for you. Why? Because it's never going to be a level playing field. Understand that narcissists have zero boundaries, and I mean zero. They are, at the very least, empathy impaired, if not lacking in conscience entirely. They also have zero issue lying, twisting, distorting, omitting, and misleading. And this is as true of the covert or more meek and vulnerable narcissist as it is of the more overt and grandiose narcissist. Now comment below and let me know whether or not you're finding value in this video. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. It's important to understand that narcissists will be willing to go to any lengths, and they'll be willing to say whatever it takes to win. And winning for them means not only discrediting and demeaning you by making you look bad, but also hurting you in whatever way possible. They'll use anything they can against you, including deeply personal or sensitive disclosures, whatever they think will get the job done, no matter how cruel, untrue, or bizarre. Nothing is off limits for these folks. And keep in mind that this will be true during the actual fight or argument, as well as after the fact, when recanting their version of the story to their enabling little entourage, flying monkeys and little minions. When we say that people with a destructive narcissist personality pattern are selfish and self-centered to the extreme, we are not kidding. They couldn't give a flying bleep about the negative and detrimental impact all of this has on you and your life. People ask me all the time, Tammy, do they know? Are they aware? Do they realize what they're doing? And although I absolutely believe they know and are very much aware of what they do, that isn't the real issue. It's not whether or not they know, it's that they do not care. Get it? Big difference. They are hardly innocent victims of their own shadowy behavior. They know full well their lies and manipulation take a toll and have a negative impact on you as well as others. And it doesn't faze them one iota. In fact, they rather like it. It's why they behave the way they do on repeat. So why do they blame you? Because they're emotional and psychological babies. Wounded, angry, fearful little toddlers walking around in adult bodies pretending to be adults when they are anything but. Again, they're selfish and self-centered to the extreme, completely self-absorbed, entitled, and absolutely fear and shame-based. So, whatever the issue is, the issue has to be you. You have to be the problem, the cause of the upset or drama. Even the appalling things they've done to you are all your fault because according to them, you brought it on yourself. You deserved it. Like, for example, they couldn't be honest with you. They couldn't tell you the truth because of how you'd have reacted. Please. As if something's wrong with you for having a legitimate feeling response to the horrible things they lie about and try to cover up. They blame you because they are fully, fundamentally, and constitutionally incapable of any real level of self-reflection that would involve owning what it is that they're doing or have done that's causing, or at the very least has contributed to, the problem. Admitting their own shortcomings and the very real relationship crimes they commit would be like death to their overinflated ego and the false persona they've crafted over decades. So they'll avoid it as if their life depends on it, because in a way, it does. And on the rare occasion where they back themselves into a corner tightly enough where they might have no alternative but to admit or own up to some portion of responsibility, usually because the evidence is so glaringly obvious they just can't deny it, this time anyway, regardless, crying uncle and half-heartedly admitting truth because you're left with no choice, or the price you'll pay for continuing to lie and deny will be too high, doesn't mean anything's going to change. Remember, friends, these people do not change, not in any real and lasting way. And the sooner you surrender to that reality, the better off you'll be. It's important to remember that narcissists are not only master manipulators, but are also very good at arguing and fighting. They'll wear you down and wear you out and walk away feeling empowered and superior. In particular, if you're in the ring with them operating from a position of weakness yourself, because you've been so manipulated, exploited, abused, and beaten down over time. They know exactly what to say and how to say it in order to cause you to doubt yourself and even blame and shame yourself. Again, especially if you're operating from a position of weakness, which of course is where they want you and where they'll keep you given the chance. This technique is called gaslighting, and it's a typical primary weapon of choice. And if you want to learn more about narcissists and gaslighting, you can watch this video here. Now that said, there are some specific arguing techniques that narcissists will use on repeat for no other reason than to deliberately bait you into a fight. Like, for example, they'll often minimize your distress. If you confront the narcissist about something hurtful, they'll likely downplay what occurred or minimize the events that took place, as well as how you feel about it. And this will sound something like, relax, it isn't a big deal. I've done this before and you didn't seem to care. I didn't think you'd be so upset over something so petty. In other words, you're the problem because you're petty. Blame shifting is another classic technique to stir up an argument. It can sound like, it's not my fault, it's because of you, or it's because of what so-and-so did. Gaslighting is another diversionary tactic that is meant to confuse you, cause you to doubt and second-guess yourself, as well as make it very difficult for you to address the actual issue at hand. And if you want to learn more about gaslighting, you can watch this video here. And of course, let's not forget ridiculing you. When a narcissist wants to pick a fight with you for any reason, you'll be on the receiving end of personal attack in the form of insults, put-downs, and even mocking behaviors like, for example, laughing at you when you express how hurt or disappointed you actually are. So, what do? How do you handle it when you're being targeted by a toxic, entitled, empathy-impaired emotional manipulator in this fashion? Well, if you're caught in an argument, there are ways to stay empowered. To begin with, do your best to stick to the facts. Stay focused on logic, reason, and black and white facts, meaning the objective truth as opposed to your subjective truth. Also, you'll want to try to speak in the I language. Phrasing anything you need to say in the form of I statements can be helpful in that the narcissist is less likely to feel attacked and therefore less likely to feel like they need to have to defend themselves with a counterattack. For example, you could say, I feel like you're not considering my needs, instead of, you're being selfish. Next, keep your cool. Not always easy for sure, but again, in so much as you're able, stay cool. Calm, cool, and collected is the goal. You'll find it helpful to consider practicing the Grey Rock method to help you achieve this. And if you want to learn more about that technique, you can watch this video here. Also, learn to set boundaries with confidence. In order to hold your ground, set healthy boundaries and stand your ground when you do so. This can sound like, if you continue to yell at me, I'll leave. Or, I need a 15-minute break. We can resume the conversation when I get back. When it comes to setting boundaries with confidence, this is much easier to do with some practice. So practice when it doesn't matter, when the stakes are low. This way, when it does matter, when the stakes are high, you'll have some practice under your belt, and it'll be easier for you to draw a line in the sand and then back yourself. Another good idea is to consider setting a time limit. If the argument is going nowhere and making you feel bad about yourself, do what you can to end the interaction peacefully. And if you can't do that, then just end the interaction. For example, you can say something like, I have an appointment at 2 o'clock, I have to get going in 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, leave, period. And last but not least, in some cases, a relationship with a destructive narcissist can not only turn abusive, but also dangerous. If someone starts making threats against you in any way, it's best to leave the situation as soon as possible. And to be clear, threats include, but are not limited to, physical threats towards you, your loved ones, or your pets. So please do whatever you need to do to keep yourself and others who may be vulnerable safe, always. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. But don't stop now. I have well over 100 more videos right here on YouTube for you to watch to help you better understand the detrimental effects of narcissistic abuse and, more importantly, learn what you need to do now to heal from the abuse so you can start living your best life in peace, confidence, and freedom. And if you want to go deeper with me, go to TammyMCoaching.com and learn about my unique, tried and true process garnered over decades of experience and learn how you can become my client.